Look, I'm not really very good with people. I mean, there are many people that I like, but many people all at once, I just... no. Like, if I'm dropped in a party and someone comes up being all like, "Hi, I'm Steve, pleased to meet you," then, actually, I'm a little bit suspicious of you, actually, Steve. How can you be pleased to meet someone you don't know? Suspicious. Why are you showing me your hand? You want me to... okay? Is that it? Is our social transaction done? Can I go now? Please? Look, Steve, I really just got dragged along, okay? I really don't want to be here. Okay? Not that you're not lovely, probably. I mean, you could be a serial killer for all I know. It's just, it's noise and the people. I really just want to go home now, actually. Stop looking at me! So anyway, I thought it'd be a good idea to just make a little video introducing who I am and what I'll be doing. Which unfortunately does mean I'll have to talk a little bit about the thing I least like talking about, which is me. So, who I am is an adult with a form of autism commonly called Asperger's syndrome. I mean, psychologists now prefer to talk about spectrums because something like autism is actually a whole range of traits and characteristics that will affect everyone a little bit differently and to greater or lesser degrees. But yes, most simply, I have autism but without any learning difficulties. Pronunciation difficulties sometimes. Yeah. So yes, I do understand intellectually what emphatic expressions are and what they're for, but my brain just isn't wired for them. I have to think all the time about things that just come naturally to other people, which does get exhausting. And I'm not like Sherlock. I do pay a lot of attention to some things, but I'm not going to mind palace you or anything, and I'm never an arsehole deliberately. And I'm also not really good at doing any kind of maths in my head or at translating entirely alien languages or anything like that. Now, I was an adult when I was diagnosed, which just means all my time in secondary school I was pretty much miserable all of the time. Very often I just decided not to go. Just go for a walk in the country instead, read a book, write something. Because at school I was just always distracted, could never focus, and just didn't understand why I couldn't enjoy the things that all of my peers seemed to. I was very good at exams though, so I passed all that, but then it turns out that exam conditions don't really occur in the real world very often. And so, for more years I just went on being depressed. Sometimes well-meaning people would invite me down to the pub, for example, encourage me to try and have fun and be normal. But just imagine trying to have a conversation with someone in a room filled with maybe 30 people, and every conversation they're having is just as loud as the person sat next to you. As well as every key jangle, every phone, every clink of glass. It's just, it's impossible for me to have fun like that. So I failed at being normal, and that just makes me more depressed. Cheers! But of course, eventually I did go to see a psychologist and was diagnosed, and that's helped me to reflect a lot more on my behaviour and also have something I can tell to other people to help them understand me better. But getting to the point, my retreat through all of this was just, escaping into my own world. So since I was a child, I was always very into fantasy and science fiction, so if you are just imagining a nerdy stereotype, I'm not going to do anything to combat that right now. But I think what it is in particular that I'm drawn to the character of the intelligent alien. I'm not saying autistic people are aliens, I mean, Jesus H. flippin'. No, what I mean is just a character who's a little bit different and mostly views society from the outside. Perhaps often just, not quite getting it. So, an alien who comes to Earth, they might have science and technology millennia ahead of ours, but, still make fools of themselves because they just don't understand the norms of human society. Or, Data in Star Trek and his often bumbled attempts to fit in with humanity is another quite obvious example, I think. Or, it can just also be a character who is just out of time, or just lives on the very fringes of society and has never really gotten involved before. Characters who are just constantly puzzled by things that, everyone else just accepts as normal, and so they never really question. In my current writing project, Irongate, I think there are at least 2 characters who I would identify as intelligent alien type of characters. There is Jennifer, who is probably the most like me, except I'm not a girl, and my parents are fine, and I don't have a supercomputer that looks like a Martian living in my lighthouse. It's not all autobiographical, as I'm saying. And there is also young Tenny, who is a child who's had a very abnormal upbringing, and she finds herself now in this weird world where she sees things are often unfair and confusing, and sometimes just silly. But I think it's important that we have characters like this, because the perspective of these kind of outsiders, it lets us all look at ourselves and examine things we might otherwise never thought about. Really asking boring questions like, what really is the point of neckties? Why do you want something that looks like a fish dangling from your neck? Is it comfortable? Sure, if you like the idea of having something close to your throat that anyone could use to strangle you with. I know you can get clip-on ties, but I don't care. I'm just fundamentally opposed to ties and shoelaces, and those are the only things that I stand against, or at least I would if they weren't always tripping me. So anyway, don't worry, I'm not actually going to talk on my channel very often. Most of what I'm going to be posting is fiction in some form. Maybe I'll come back and talk a bit about some influences. Hopefully I'll have a better audio set up by then. I'll look at some shows, movies, and things that I grew up with. Maybe the odd bit of mythology and real science, perhaps. Maybe play the odd game. And maybe once a month I'll, answer some questions or something like that. For now, goodbye. Look at him. Look at him there. His little suit, his little tie. What an absolute